Hey everybody, welcome to another video. As you can see, today's video is going to be about winter camping gear. If you've ever been attracted to the idea of winter camping and have tried camping in the fall and the cooler months but just have not been successful at it, this video might help you. I'm going to share with you my winter gear, go through different temperature ranges in which I use it. It may help you save a little bit of money, and it will show you how I stack it up, basically using a modular approach. So the first thing that I want to talk about is investing in pretty much core items. And I know sleeping gear gets quite expensive, and that's one of the reasons why it's hard to stay warm and carry a comfortable pack. The very first thing that I want to talk about is, the largest item in your sleep system, and that's your sleeping bag, or in my case, a top quilt. I invested in an REI top quilt. This is the Magma 30. It's rated for 30 degrees. I treat that as a lower limit. So instead of assuming that I'd be comfortable at 30 degrees with this, I assume I'd just be safe at 30 degrees with this. It gives you a little bit of a buffer. The other larger item that I invested in was the sleeping pad. This is a Thermarest Neo Air. The R value on this pad's pretty high. It's for winter and cold months. The R value is 6.5 on this. This pad wasn't cheap at all, so I think it was around $250 or something like that. And the quilt is the same. So how are you going to save money when you've already got two items that are big dollars like that? Well, this is how I do it. I start with this as my base. You've got to have a warm sleeping pad. You rock your sleeping pad, and then you can change out all of these other items as you go. So these two items here were the only two items that required a large investment. All right. So we invest in the two core items, and the rest of the stuff we can get as we go, and we can supplement our system with these items. And we're going to get into those items here in 1 second. So we've got a high R value sleeping pad that's packable, and a 30-degree trail quilt, which is quite packable and small. Now, when I'm going fall camping, the very first pad that I reach for is my Thermarest Neo Air, and I grab my trail quilt. I use this all year long. Even in the summertime, you can use this on warmer months. It's very small and packable. If it's too warm, you can kick your legs out of it. It works great. So that's how you save the money. You're buying fewer items by investing in a couple of quality items. So for season camping, I use this little packable quilt. Winter, summer, spring, all of that stuff. When it comes to the cooler months, I change out my sleeping pad from my expensive winter pad to a less expensive. I've even got down to $30 and $40 sleeping pads that I use in the summer months. Expensive base. Now, I will go camping into the fall, 40s and 50s with this setup. It gets a little bit chillier in the fall. The next thing that gets added to the system is you toss on your beanie and you toss on your neck gaiter. And you have a pair of mid-weight sleeping socks. So you have a pretty good setup right here. As far as fall camping is concerned, you don't need much else other than that. When you want to dip down into freezing temps, you get into the 40s and 30s and 30s and below, you can start adding other items like packable down booties, packable down pants, and you throw on your puffy coat. Now, that's the approach that I take. I think it works great for me. That's what I mean by it's a modular approach, because we've only really purchased two pieces of actual sleeping gear. The rest of the stuff is comfort items that have other uses. So you save some money by buying things that have other uses. You're going to have a beanie on you anyways, and you probably should have a neck gaiter or a buff on you anyways. These down booties are rough on the bottom. You can use them as camp shoes, so you can carry less equipment with you. So you take off your wet boots at night and you put on your booties in the tent, and that adds to warmth inside your bag as well. The down pants, it's basically like another small wearable sleeping bag, right? But you can use them for layers and warmth while you're around camp. your larger puffy jacket, you're likely going to have a puffy with you anyways if you're backpacking in the winter. Why folks overlook this as a supplement to a sleeping bag, I'm not sure. A lot of folks will strip down into their base layers in order to stay warmer. I don't find that that works at all. As a matter of fact, I go the opposite direction. So you've got a nice warm sleeping pad, you have your trail quilt, you have all your down gear on. I mean, you're good well below freezing. And if that is not enough, one of the other pieces of gear you can buy, which are fantastic, is a sleeping bag liner like this right here. The Sea Summit Thermalite Reactor Extreme sleeping bag liner is quite packable and small. As you can see, it is around $80, but this adds, they claim, 25 degrees of warmth to your sleeping system. So with this small pile of gear that I have right here and I showed you, I am good well below freezing and actually comfortable. If you wanted to take all that gear out of the mix and pack simple, you don't want to wear a puffy, or you don't want to carry a puffy, or you don't want to bring down booties and down pants to extend the warmth, you can simply invest in the larger big ticket items. Two of them. Warm sleeping pad, pretty decent packable quilt. Down to 30 degrees, $80 investment for a sleeping bag liner. Boom, you're down to almost single digits, around 20 degrees, 10 degrees pretty easily with just these two items here in terms of, you know, big ticket sleeping items. So that's it really. That's my method in a nutshell. I hope I explained the modular approach that I take to keeping warm in the wintertime well enough. So basically I switch out these individual pieces of gear as the season changes and greatly extend my comfort all throughout the year. I don't hesitate to camp in, you know, 10, 15 degree weather, 20 degree weather with this approach. I'm comfortable, I'm warm, and I'm safe, and honestly, this gear is far lighter and saves you space compared to, say, investing in multiple sleeping systems and multiple sleeping bags. A lot of folks go that route. They have a 30 and 40 degree bag, they have a 50 degree bag. For winter camping, they buy a big bulky 0 degree bag, and that gets quite expensive. This is the approach that I take, so that's how you save the money. You avoid buying multiple sleep systems, and you end up with other pieces of gear that have multiple purposes, like I said. So you stack a small packable quilt with a sleeping bag liner. That gives you two options: cooler weather, very cold weather, and you just switch out your sleeping pads as needed. So I hope that helped and gave you some ideas on ways you can stay warm in the winter time, because I've got to tell you, winter is just about on us, and it is my favorite time of year. The bugs are dead and the beer stays cold. I don't have to carry any coolers anymore. So if you got anything out of the video, guys, give it a like, and if you have any questions or input, let me know in the comments below how you stay warm in the winter. And thanks for hanging out and watching the video if you made it this far. So we'll talk to you soon, and we'll see you on the trail this winter.